You picked up your phone for something. You had a reason. You're sure of it. A message, maybe. Something quick. Then it's 11 minutes later. And you're watching a video about a guy restoring a vintage motorbike in a country you've never thought about. You don't even like motorbikes, so you try to retrace it. How did you get here? But there's nothing to trace. Just a blur. Like you were moving, but nothing actually moved through you. That's the thing most people never name. You were there, eyes open, brain running, but some part of you wasn't present. And once you notice it there, you start seeing it everywhere. It's sitting down to eat and pulling out your phone before the first bite, not because you're hungry for information, just because sitting with food in silence feels like wasted time. It's being in a conversation, someone talking to you, looking at you, and realizing you've been composing your response since their second sentence. You didn't hear the rest. You were there, but you weren't listening. It's starting a task at work, hitting the first point of friction, and immediately opening a new tab, not to find something useful, just to leave. It's driving a familiar route and arriving with no memory of the last 10 minutes of road, not because you were tired, because your mind had already gone somewhere else entirely. It's finishing a show, one you chose, one you wanted to watch, and immediately scrolling for the next one before the credits finish rolling. No pause, no letting it land. On to the next thing before this one has fully ended. The device changes. The pattern doesn't. And that pattern has a mechanism. Your brain's core architecture took roughly 2 million years to develop. The attentional systems, the memory circuits, the threat detection reflexes, all of it shaped in environments where stimuli were sparse, slow changing, local. If something moved, it mattered. If something was new, it was worth scanning. If there was silence, it meant safety, or it meant you needed to think. That's what your brain was calibrated for. Now those same reflexes fire hundreds of times a day. Every notification, every context switch, every headline. Your novelty detection system, the one that kept your ancestors alive, treats a like's counter and a predator with the same basic urgency. Not because your brain is failing, because it's doing exactly what it evolved to do, in an environment it was never built to handle. The checking behavior specifically, switching tasks before finishing them, refreshing, scanning, moving on, that pattern maps directly onto foraging. Variable reward schedules, sometimes food, sometimes nothing. The same mechanism that drove resource scanning for survival now drives you out of conversation, away from your meal, off a task the moment it gets hard. This isn't metaphor. Behavioral scientists have documented this directly. The platforms were designed around it, but the platforms didn't create the reflex. They just found it and pulled on it. So when you leave a moment before it's finished, you're not choosing. You're running a program that's 2 million years old in a world that's about 15 years old. Think about the last few days. Not what happened, how they felt. Fast, blurred. Events you can recall but can't quite place yourself inside. That's not time speeding up. That's what attention fragmentation does to memory. Memory formation isn't passive. It requires sustained attention during an experience for encoding to happen, for something to move from working memory into long-term storage. When your attention keeps switching, the encoding signal is weak. The experience registers, but doesn't consolidate. So you had the conversation, ate the meal, did the work, watched the show, but the brain didn't store much of it. Not gaps exactly. More like the resolution is low. The detail isn't there. Because the attention needed to create it wasn't there either. And time perception follows the same logic. Distinct, consolidated memories are how the brain measures duration. More memories from a period. Time feels longer, fuller. Fewer memories. Time collapses. So your weeks feel identical. Your days feel used up without being lived. You're moving through your life at full speed, and somehow it feels like you're falling behind it. And this is the part most people don't want to sit with. You think you're choosing this, leaving conversations early in your head, eating while doing something else, switching tasks at the first sign of resistance. But most of the time you're reacting to one specific thing, the quiet moment, the small gap, that pause where nothing is demanding your attention. That's the actual trigger, not the phone, not the tab, not the next episode. The stillness those things fill. That stillness is an emptiness. The brain's default mode network, the system that activates during rest, is where consolidation happens, where the conversation you just had actually settles into you, where the problem you've been working on connects to something unexpected, where experience becomes memory and memory becomes understanding. It's not doing nothing. It's doing some of the most important processing your brain runs. But now that state feels wrong, uncomfortable, like something's missing. So you feel it at the dinner table, in the car, mid-conversation, before the credits finish rolling. And the processing never completes. The experience passes through without landing. And slowly, without any single moment you could point to, your life starts to feel slightly thin. Not broken, not dramatic, just less vivid than it should be. Like you're present for everything and fully inside nothing. That's the real cost. Not productivity, not screen time. The texture of your own experience. Quietly going flat. So next time you feel the pull, in a conversation, at a meal, mid-task, on a commute, before you leave a moment, just pause. Not to be disciplined. Just to notice. Notice what you're actually avoiding. Because it's usually not boredom. It's the default mode network trying to do its job. And you keep interrupting it. The only question that actually matters is this. When nothing is demanding your attention, why does that feel so hard to stay in? And when was the last time something, a meal, a conversation, a drive, an evening, stayed with you long enough to feel like it was actually yours? If that lands somewhere real, good. That's the thing most people move past before it finishes forming. This channel is about learning to see it, how your brain actually works, why your attention behaves the way it does. The real mechanisms, not the self-help version. Once you understand them, they change how you move through everything. If that's what you're after, subscribe. We're just getting started.